McCarthy Mansions in distress? Leader Fan Radio Network.
That's all. I'm done.
And KFAN.com. 2 minutes, 1 second past 3 o'clock Central Daylight Time. We welcome you back to a Thursday edition of the Bumper to Bumper program. I am the host of the circus. My name is Dan Barreiro, former columnist of the Star Tribune. Guardsy is the producer, two-time state high school tennis champion, sideline reporter, Golden Gopher football, radio voice of Golden Gopher women's basketball as well. And we are delighted that you are along for what's kind of a truncated ride today. It is, after all, Thursday. So ordinarily we're out at 6. As it turns out, today we'll be out a little earlier than that because we've got Vikings programming to get to before, yes, more preseason wild hockey. Regular season is just around the corner. That, of course, means the return on a weekly basis of Luigi. And
who's about to go into the Hall of Fame next week.
Radio, that's true.
The most recent Hall of Fame.
I am trying to figure out whether I can go. The beauty of being a Hall of Fame member is you can go for free.
Is that right?
But I think it's in Stillwater. That's like, from where I live, that takes 4 days.
Oh, it's a nice drive,
Is it a nice drive?
Yeah, it's a really nice drive.
How is it? It's not scenic.
It can be. Depends on which way you go.
What's the scenic route, would you say?
I'm not prepared for any follow-ups. I just know once you get to Stillwater, it's very nice.
Stillwater's wonderful, but it's the getting there. So we'll see how that goes.
I think Edina Hall of Fame makes you pay. I'm a little bitter now.
Is that true?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
I mean, it's a fundraiser, so I get it. They need the money.
Desperately. Bradshaw and Bryan KFAN text line is open at 64686. Quick reminder to the legions of Sean Salisbury fans. He is not available for duty today, but he is going to join us tomorrow at 5:02 tomorrow. It's going to be a very full program tomorrow as we move some pieces around. In Shawnee's case, I think he just got back from the Hawaiian Islands.
Yes.
Where his son got married. Congratulations.
That's correct.
To his kid. Said he had a wonderful whirlwind experience. I think the wedding was on Kona or in Kona. And so Sean has asked for a little extra time to sort of recover after a overnight flight, and he'll be with us tomorrow at 5. That being the case, 3:30 became an open spot, and it will be filled by Dr. Dan's inbox. That means you have less than 30 minutes to get in on the fun. Email the producer of the show, jg@kfan.com, if you would like to participate. In addition, we'll have another in-studio guest. It's the return of Aaron Gleeman with a Twins debrief as we get ever closer to the end of one of the most disastrous seasons, all things included, in Minnesota Twins history. Gleeman in studio between 4 and 5. And, from there, I'm assuming we'll do top 5.
Yes.
And then we'll just fake it to get to 5:45 when we wrap this thing up. There's actually a lot of really good stories to get to. I just don't know how many of them we're going to be able to include in today's broadcast. I mentioned off the top of the program that we are indeed your McCarthy Mansions in distress leader. Well, that might be sensationalizing the story a little bit, but we love being shock jocks on this show. And the last thing I want to do is fall far behind in the shock jock ratings to folks like Kevin Seifert, Ben Gessling, Mark Craig, who has already written that it's Wentz's job to lose at this point. Carson Wentz's job to lose.
Wow.
After one game. Did you happen to see the commentary? This is out of nowhere. I think it's unsolicited. I don't think there's any agenda or bad blood here, but did you happen to read the comments from former Giants and Super Bowl MVP quarterback and occasional football analyst Phil Simms?
No.
On J.J. McCarthy.
Uh-oh.
Whew. I'll tell you what. Well, let me just read the quote. See what you think. Phil Simms, who's not a shock jock.
No.
Doesn't seem to be.
I don't think so.
I don't like to start controversies or anything like that, which of course means you're about to, but I would be worried about J.J. McCarthy. I would be worried about J.J. McCarthy. Yeah, he had the great quarter, the fourth quarter against the Bears, okay. But what really makes me think is just the throwing part of it. You know, he's just not throwing the ball well when he was out there. It's a lot of work, and it seems like unless he gets to throw it as hard as he can throw it, that's about the only time he somehow or somewhat puts it on target on time. I think they've got a lot of work to do if they want to turn him into what they call a franchise quarterback. And he's going to need a lot of work, a lot of playing time, a lot of practice time. Wait for it. It wouldn't shock me if Carson Wentz, they keep him in there until it turns, and where they can see bringing J.J. McCarthy back in would be a lift to the team.
What the hell's going on out here?
I just read them. More on Carson Wentz from Phil Simms, who is apparently losing himself in Wentz's eyes. Carson Wentz looked like he was actually enjoying the game more than I've seen him enjoy it.
That's KOC.
That was something. Just his body language. I thought it was really good during the game. Any thoughts? Again, Phil Simms isn't the last word.
No.
Here's I think where there is some substance to this, and where this to me is the key point I distilled out of what he's saying. I think most observers who have watched this kid perform and seen some of his skills, most people have come to the conclusion that he's got a chance to be really good at the pro level, right? I don't think that's changed yet, nor should it have on the basis of 2 games. But I do think the key question is, does he fall under the classification of a guy who actually does need to play a lot to get to that place that you think he's capable of? That he's not one of these guys who's finished enough where you can just surround him with great talent or good to great talent and assume that that will be enough to carry him almost from the start of when he plays. In other words, is he a short-term project, or is a little bit more of a long-term project, and what must the Vikings suffer in between if indeed he's going to be their starting quarterback? I think that's a fair assessment. That's the fair question.
Yeah.
That I take out of what Simms had to say.
And did they call it correctly on which of those 2 options it was going to be with everything that they did this year for the team and everything that they didn't do with the team? Did they make the right choice when they decided to hand him the keys to everything? Because the national narrative has started a little bit with the Wentz stuff.
Yes, it has.
And they're having, this morning on ESPN, Orlovsky was having the conversation because the defense, the Vikings defense.
Is Orlovsky on board yet?
Well, I think he's kind of in the middle. He's a JJ guy, and he's a huge KOC guy. And I think he's always happy when a quarterback who's struggled, I think he what's the word, aligns or understands. He played it. He knows it's hard. So I think he likes when a guy like a Sam Darnold last year, or maybe this year Carson Wentz, a guy who's been beaten up a little bit, finds himself in a good situation and plays well. So I think he likes that part of it. But he threw out the comment regarding the defense, which is getting a lot of headlines in one case because of an Alec Lewis tweet where they disguised like 52 things before the snap and changed their look before the snap, and it ended up getting a sack of Jake Browning on Sunday, basically saying if the Vikings get average quarterback play the entire year,
they're in good shape.
They're in the NFC Championship game, and you're on your own after that. So he's putting that out there of saying this is all they need because of how well their defense is playing. Can they get it? Whoever they get that from is the guy they're going to go. And it also kind of sets the bar low for Wentz, too, right?
It does. That's true.
He doesn't have to go out there and be crazy. He just has to play okay, average, define average, and the Vikings are in good shape.
Well, you could argue that what you're describing qualifies Wentz right now more than it does J.J. McCarthy.
A little bit.
You could say we're not pretending that Wentz at this point in his life and his career is capable of becoming the guy who seemed to be on his way to the MVP when he broke through with the Eagles, right? But he is capable of being average enough where he might be able to carry you through. So I don't know. Again, everybody needs angles. Everybody needs talking points each week because of the daily commentary. So stuff like this gets driven and gets out of control. But I do think Sims' comments should be taken under consideration on that issue I just mentioned. Not that you give up on him, but whether he's got a lot more seasoning than he needs before you can literally just hand him the ball and say, KOC will get him through by talking into his helmet, before the shot clock gets turned off or the sound gets turned off. That's the legitimate question of the day. So we pass that along for all of the JJ Obos to consider. And I know they don't want to hear it. I know they get nervous, but I do think it is an interesting commentary. It is interesting commentary from a former NFL Super Bowl most valuable player and a guy who, as I said, I don't think has a lot of shock jock to him.
No.
I don't think that's Phil Sims' reputation. So we'll take that under advisement. I do have some good texts already coming in via the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. And I also have, and I don't know how much this has been discussed on the station today, when it comes to your favorite game, the National Basketball Association, Guardsy, most definitely, I think it's fair to say that we can offer some good news and also some very bad news about the state of the professional basketball game on the men's side.
And Vikings will look to have the luck of the Irish this Sunday as they head across the pond to Dublin to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The pregame starts at 6:30 a.m. You can catch every touchdown, every sack, every game-changing play right here on the audio home for Minnesota Vikings football, KFAN, and on the go with the free and easy-to-use iHeartRadio app.
The McBobos, as they prefer to call themselves, probably is better than it trips off the tongue better than JJ Obos, are responding just as I expected they would. JJ had a backup O-line. Aikman was 2-14. I always love that one. That's an oldie.
We're going back to Aikman.
Yeah. It's been 2 games. RELAX. I don't think you can underestimate the importance of the offensive line. Wentz had Darrisaw. JJ did not. So you see JJ with Darrisaw left tackle. It's hard to make a decision. Alec Lewis writes 717 guy. Where's 717? That's a
717.
That's a new one for me. Alec Lewis has some explaining to do. He had me thinking during preseason that JJ was getting a gold Hall of Fame jacket after this season.
South Central Pennsylvania.
Interesting. It all keeps coming back to Jets' comment last preseason that he has a strong arm but no touch. I took notice of that. And that's part of what Sims talked about, I think, a little bit. There's a kind of a cross-section. So, yeah, the McBobos are out. Not surprised that they indeed are. We'll continue to take your comments under advisement. Aaron Gleeman in studio, top of the 4. I want to remind you, the inbox, kind of a late edition today, but early during the show. In fact, next segment, inbox time, and there's still time to get on the fun, according to Guardsy. JG@KFAN.com. We strongly urge your last-minute participation. Your favorite 4-letter network, ESPN.com, trying its best to drum up interest in the soon-to-arrive professional basketball season, has come out with its top 100 players in the National Basketball Association. And I want to count down the top 10 to make my point earlier about best of times and worst of times, good and bad. Number 10, the 10th best player in the NBA, according to the ESPN study, is Jalen Brunson.
Okay.
New York Knickerbockers.
Yeah.
He moves up from 12 a year ago, from 12 to 10. I don't think that many people would argue about him being a top 10 player in terms of certainly production at this point. I'm going to be very fascinated to see what the new coach, who's the new coach there? Is it Mike Brown?
Sounds right.
The new Knicks coach replacing Tibbs. The word on the street is, and this I think is a smart move, his plan is to not have Brunson always be the guy to bring the ball up and have him play off the ball a little bit more, which might encourage, perish the thought, Karl Anthony Towns getting a touch or two in the fourth quarter. But anyway, I digress. Brunson, 10. Number 9, the one who got away, Kevin Durant, Houston Rockets.
Still top 10.
Still top 10, which I think might be a little bit above where he should be. But then again, you get him to the postseason with something on the line, you'd say he's still as good a scorer as there is in the league. So he stays at number 9, same as a year ago. He is, of course, with the Rockets now. Number 8, at the age of 47, LeBron James. He moves all the way down from 7 to 8. Enough said there. Steph Curry is number 7. Steph Curry, number 7.
Look at the old heads.
There's 3 in a row here.
I love it.
Actually 7. Yeah, Curry 7, LeBron 8, and Durant 9. And some people have asked, well, is that a bad sign that the league is not progressing and turning it over when you have 3 old heads that high? The comeback to that, I think, could well be, but these aren't your typical old heads because these guys they keep themselves in wonderful condition. They're, I think, proof that the league has changed, right? The idea that you reach a certain age now and you're done.
Sports in general.
Exactly. Does not have to apply any longer.
And I happened to watch the other night the final couple episodes of the Paris Olympics documentary on USA Basketball. Well, everybody's basketball. You forget, like this, just over a year ago, how those 3 carried Team USA to the gold medal. Curry, Durant, and LeBron.
There's no question.
It was incredible.
Undeniable.
As much as all the young bucks were kind of doing it in the pool play, and before that, it was those 3 that were amazing.
Let's go now in the other direction. I've gone to number 7. Now let's jump up to number 1, and then we'll kind of meet in the middle, okay?
Okay.
The top-ranked player, you haven't looked, right, at the
I
list?
have not, no.
The top-ranked player in all of professional basketball, according to ESPN, is?
I think it's got to be Joker.
It's still Joker.
Yeah.
Who was also number 1 a year ago. Joker 1. Number 2, offering a guess there?
I'm trying to figure out is it skinny Luka or fat Luka?
You're not going to like this.
I'm not going to like it.
That's my hint to you. You're not going to like who they have ranked number 2. You're not going to like it.
Who don't I like? Well, then it's got to be Luka.
No, somebody you dislike more than Luka.
Man, how am I forgetting do I have too many people that I don't like?
Well, no, but this one's a big one on your list, I think.
Who is it?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Oh, yeah, that was I've just blocked him from my mind until I have to watch him. Oh, no.
He moves from 4 to 2.
Yeah.
You mentioned Luka.
Did he fall on the way from 4 to 2?
He might have.
Or did he just get there on his own with good balance?
No, actually, he stood up and gained 2 spots.
Interesting.
Number 3 is Luka.
Okay. Who's ripped now.
Who's apparently ripped, at least for now. He moves down all the way from 2 to 3. And number 4 is Giannis, the Greek freak.
Yeah.
Is number 4. You'll never guess. I bet you if I gave you 5 guesses, you won't get number 5.
5 guesses. I won't get number 5. So
according to ESPN, the 5th best player in the world in basketball right now.
We haven't said Giannis, right?
We did say Giannis. Giannis is 4.
Oh, Giannis is 4.
Yeah.
I was still in SGA land.
I understand.
So we just said Giannis.
Correct.
Man, I'm trying to go through. Can't be Kawhi.
Nope. Although he is very good at planting trees, we've been told.
Yes.
He'd be number 1 there, as somebody
and I'm assuming they're taking Jason Tatum off because
Tatum is off,
of
as
the injury,
well as
Halliburton.
Pacers guy. They're out. They're out because they're even though there's a chance at least one of them might come back, they're assuming that they're not available for the purposes of this rankings.
It's got to be Anthony Edwards, number 5.
Incorrect.
And then I don't know. I'm out.
Victor Wembanyama.
Oh, wow. Really?
Is number 5.
Yeah, that would be a tough one to guess.
They've never, exactly. It's a hard one to guess. That's a projection, I think. He played well when he played, influential when he played, but still hasn't, made the playoffs yet. They got him number 5. And then, as you mentioned, our guy, Anthony Edwards, is number 6. And what I find notable about this, let's go back to the top of the list. Number 1, as I said earlier, is Jokic. Where is he from?
Serbia.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, where is he from?
Canada.
Luka Doncic, where is he from?
Is it Slovenia?
Slovenia, correct. Greek Freak, if that's not a clue, where is he from?
He's from Greece. Not originally, though.
No. And Victor
the movie Rise.
Wembanyama, where is he from?
France.
Which tells us that according to ESPN, the best American-born basketball player in the world already is our guy.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Now, that's the good. I would still say the bad from an NBA standpoint is the highest an American player can get in the rankings is 6. Come on, man. What happened to us? Now, I understand it's now an international game. We pride ourselves on that. It's come one, come all, right? That's the beauty of it.
Yes.
But we've talked about this the last couple of years, that I don't think it's an accident that the top 5 are all from someplace other than here, because I do think it is related to the way players are trained,
yes,
the mentality, etc. So good for us and good for Anthony Edwards as he's the top-ranked American player, and yet that gets him no higher, at least according to these rankings, than number 6 in the world behind 5 individuals from other countries.
And this is such a deeper conversation that I could have, or that I would love to have, because what you just said is my entire thesis statement for how I'm trying to raise my own kids.
Well done.
and the sports that they're in.
Yes.
Because you can play. And
in other words, if you ever graduated from college and then got your master's, and then we're looking for a doctoral thesis, this might be the subject.
Yes, and the closest thing I'm getting to a doctoral thesis is Dr. Dan next segment, which you can also email me, jg@kfan.com. Right. But my entire premise, and my kids aren't going to be pros. We all understand that.
Yes.
We all understand what we're dealing with here. But as I'm watching everything, and it's not just basketball, it's every sport, I'm watching the number of games related to the number of practices, and every international basketball person you talk to says that why are the international players so much better at playing and fundamentals and passing and dribbling and all these different things? They understand the game because and why do they care about winning so much more than maybe some other people do? Because they practice for like 3 months and then might get to play a half. Like, they never play games, from what it sounds like. They practice all week and then maybe play a game or two. And so because this isn't a new topic, as you know.
No, we've talked about it for years.
As the world has taken over basketball.
Going all the way back to Flip Saunders got in trouble for some of the stuff he told us on this show with the AAU folks.
Totally.
They were all over him.
And you play 9 games in a weekend. You're playing for 5 different teams. You're going all over the place to play games, and you're never actually practicing. And losses really don't matter. Now, I'm basically basing my entire life as a parent off of that list right there. And I'm only being somewhat hyperbolic. Because there's opportunities to play games in every sport that my kids want to play. I could line them up and they could play 50 games this weekend if they wanted to. And I'm rebelling as hard as I can against it because of that.
Understandably. The inbox is going to be open next. Still time to email Guardsy, jg@kfan.com. And don't forget, we got Aaron Gleeman in studio between 4 and 5. Lots of Twins conversation. We might actually broaden it to other baseball issues. We are disconnected from the game, and I'm reminded by a number of developments late in the season in the game that it's sad when we feel this disconnected because the Twins have become so irrelevant. Stay tuned.
KFAN welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra for 2 amazing shows at Target Center on December 28th at 3 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. And tickets are on sale now. Get complete show details, including a link to buy tickets at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
We do, before we get to the inbox, Guardsy, we do live in an age, and I'm as guilty of this as anybody, that you feel like stuff that's happening right now has to be different than anything that might have come before. And in some ways, that might be true, but not in all ways. Let me give you the latest example, and I don't want to offer it up as an ode to a dead gal because I'm not sure I want to ode her. But the story broke that a woman named Sarah Jane Moore, does that name mean anything to you?
I don't think so.
Well, she dies at the age of 95 years old. And on September 22, 1975, she became infamous for firing 2 errant shots at President Gerald Ford outside the outstanding, historic St. Francis Hotel in San Francisco, California. She has died at the age of 95. A reporter for the Nashville Banner, who had developed apparently a friendship with Ms. Moore, confirmed the death first reported by that newspaper. And what made the Sarah Jane Moore, the New York Times describes her in their obit as the middle-aged radical and mother of 4, who seemed to have a vague notion of igniting a leftist revolution in America. Her death took place at a nursing home in Franklin, Tennessee. And what makes the Moore attempt to assassinate a president also notable is that it occurred only 17 days after another attempt on Gerald Ford's life by your gal, Lynette Squeaky Fromm. That name you might be more likely to remember, or some in our audience might, because she was a follower of your guy, Charles Manson.
Oh, wow.
She was part of the Manson cult. And in Sacramento, she pointed a gun at the president in a crowd, but was seized before she could indeed fire. The background on the Sarah Jane Moore attempt on President Ford's life was that there were about 3,000 people who had gathered near Union Square to take a look at the president as he left, or attempt to, as he left the hotel. She, Ms. Moore, who was then 45, had been questioned by Secret Service agents the day before, but then released. She's standing across the street, 40 to 50 feet away. She draws a chrome-plated .38 caliber revolver, fires at the president. Shot misses. She raises the gun for a second shot, at which point a former Marine named Oliver W. Sipple deflected the gun just as she fired. The bullet narrowly misses the president, ricochets off a wall, and ends up grazing a bystander. Ford gets hustled into a limo and is indeed sped away. Mr. Sipple and 2 police officers then seize Ms. Moore as well. So, again, we feel like we're in another age of assassination and assassination attempts, but there were 2 on the life of President Gerald R. Ford, 17 days apart, and the first of the 2, Sarah Jane Moore, has died at the age of 95. There's your historical nugget for the day. Gleeman in studio starting at the top of the 4 o'clock hour, top 5 at 5 to get to. A number of other very good stories before we wrap up a bit early today. But we promised the inbox for this segment. Let's get to it.
It's time for Dr. Dan's Inbox.
Letters. Oh, we get letters.
Every Thursday, usually 4:30, you can hit me, jg@kfan.com. Always time for one last-minute submission to Dr. Dan's inbox. Dear Dr. Dan, I must say I'm a bit frustrated at the moment over how things went down this offseason. I had the opportunity and flirted with the possibility of joining a Super Bowl contending team. I was told by their head coach they have their quarterback for the future. They didn't need me, and they don't need me now. They don't need me then. Here I find out that same team is currently without that quarterback, and the rumors are spiraling that he may have been shadow benched. If only they had me there, Dr. Dan. What happened? A. Rodgers.
Well, it's funny because as you're reading this one, I'm thinking, could this be A. Rodgers? Could this be D. Dimes? Could this be, who's the Seattle QB? C. Darnold.
C. Darnold.
It could be
S. Darnold. Yeah.
S. Darnold, excuse me. It could be any of those individuals. And, here's what Dr. Dan, fairness in savagery, FISA, must say. It's possible that in a duel with another quarterback, veteran quarterback that the Vikings could have had, A. Rodgers, that C. Wentz might stink up Dublin, right? I mean, that's the nature. How many times do we think a story is headed one way and then reality sets in. It ends up going a completely different direction. Is that what Dr. Dan is predicting? No, not really. But we don't know where this thing is going. We have no idea where it's going. But we're in this position. The quarterback position is so important. And what makes this story unusual, Guardsy, is not a lot of teams seemingly have had as many options as that were right in front of the Vikings, right? I mean, you come off last season. There were practical reasons not to re-sign S. Darnold, but you could have, right? You could have done that.
Yeah.
There were a lot of practical reasons not to sign D. Dimes, but you could have. There were practical reasons to sign A. Rodgers. You could have, and you didn't. And that's what makes this story so fascinating is you're running the clock on Jay McCarthy right now. You decided to let's get this thing started, and then injury intrudes. That gets in the way. And now you have yet another quarterback option in C. Wentz. And the question is, how long might this indeed go? And all Dr. Dan will continue to say is that these stories take care of themselves. We've talked about that before, but it's really pretty simple. I do believe this with all my heart. This is a winning league. And if the Vikings keep winning and C. Wentz keeps playing at least serviceably, you're going to see him in the lineup more than you might have otherwise expected. That's just the reality of it. And it makes their whole quarterback, I don't want to even call it a dilemma, their whole quarterback saga, given the number of different names that all legitimately you could say are tied to this team over the course of the last year or two, I think makes this one of the most fascinating stories in recent Vikings memory.
It's time for Dr. Dan's Inbox.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day.
Dear Dr. Dan, I have a question.
Yes.
What is a wide receiver's main responsibility? Is it blocking?
Ooh.
Running the ball? Cheerleading? No. The main responsibility is to catch the ball. Wouldn't you think when your hometown football team brings you home off of an awful team, you would be motivated to, catch the ball? So when an undrafted rookie in his first NFL game throws you a beautiful ball right into your hands for an obvious completion that would be your only catch of the day, shouldn't you catch the ball? I mean, us folks with real Minnesota connections should stick together. This from M. Brosmer. And no, I did not write this.
I had no idea that you would make this letter so prominent in the inbox. I mean, I give you credit. You didn't lead with it, but you're not fooling me.
Well, I'm going football now.
You got with it pretty quick.
Yeah.
I missed this play. So was A. Thielen wide open?
No. It was a tight window throw. Okay. I think only because another receiver kind of ran where he wasn't supposed to.
Is it fair to say that this play took place during what is called in the professional vernacular garbage time?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, Brosmer was out there. Yeah,
I get it. And you guys want anything that will make M. Brosmer, including M. Brosmer, look good because it's his time. I get that, too. But let's be honest, there wasn't a lot on the line there. I know A. Thielen has dropped at least one other pass. He's told us that. But I'm going to reserve judgment on whether A. Thielen has lost the ability to catch the ball until it happens under more clutch circumstances than a meaningless at the end of a game in which the outcome has long been decided.
I think he wants his first completion to be from North Dakota native and NDSU grad Carson Wentz.
Maybe that's true.
So it's Detroit Lakes, Fargo, Bismarck, it's that whole area. I think there's got to be some kind of connection there.
Maybe there's something deep and psychological
That's
there.
What I'm going
you
with.
Might be right.
It's time for Dr. Dan's Inbox.
Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day.
Dear Dr. Dan, hello, friend. I must say, not only was I impressed with your impressive upstart quarterback, Matt Brosner, I was even more impressed by the family-friendly atmosphere in Minneapolis. Watching the father-son duo of Ziggy and Mark Wilf operate seamlessly mere blocks away from where another young executive, Joe Polad, continues to make his family proud, begs this question. Other than green algae, what's in the water up there? This from Jay Nance.
That's beautifully played. Is that from a regular?
Yes.
That's
I believe that's Maury Amsterdam guy.
That's artful. I got to say. That hits every note and puts it all together about as good as possible. Well,
Nance didn't have his fastball on Sunday, but I can't blame him. The game got pear-shaped.
Out of hand, I think. But it is funny because as Dr. Dan laid out his Pro Football Vikings quarterback rankings the second week, I think it's catching because Dr. Dan referred to M. Brosmer as M. Brosner as well. So I don't know if it was in my head, or maybe if you type in on X the word Brosmer, it automatically, because of his reach as an announcer, switches to the M to an N. I don't know that there's any other explanation, but that was, let's face it, and I'll give in Jay Nance's, on his side of the ledger,
you're not often found.
No, that's true. I would say, in an odd sort of way, given the degree to which the game got out of hand, those missteps ended up being quite entertaining.
Yes.
Because it gave us something else to chuckle over or to think about, correct?
We're still doing it.
And we're still doing
Thursday.
it. That was very well played.
5 days after the game.
That's just brilliant.
It's time for Dr. Dan's Inbox.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day.
Dear Dr. Dan, you claim to be a huge fan, but when given a choice, your lack of true commitment, of true conviction comes through once again.
Ooh.
At your age, when the teeth go in the glass a little earlier, what's the big deal to do your sermons a little earlier the next morning? Have you considered that 5 a.m. in Minnesota is no different than midnight Maui time? I'm sure you've been up enjoying the Hawaiian nightlife at past that time of day, so what's the big deal? Do it for the fans, show your purple pride for the late, great R. McCombs, and yet when offered as a reward to come in early, it appears you really don't consider me any better than others like B-Ball, H Foods, T Foods, or H Farm, or any other wannabe from your local W Foods deli meat area. Next time I see you there and you choose me, I'll know that you're still just choosing me reluctantly. Staying salty, B-head meats.
You know what, the one thing that's unfortunate that I don't think I've ever mentioned before about the Maui experience, or the Hawaiian Islands experience?
Which one are you talking about?
Any of them. You know, the only negative that I can come up with is the sun sets early there.
Really?
At least time-wise. You know what I'm saying? It does not, it's not like, I mean, you don't get, I can't even imagine what it would be like if in Maui you got the sun setting at like 9:30 like we do in summer. Or it feels like close to 9:30. That's the only downside of it that I can come up with, but I'd still take it. What's the point of that text, or that letter?
Mostly that you were only going to go in for, I think, Portillo's, and somebody offered you Portillo's and something else to come in early.
Trying to challenge me to go forward with the experiment of, given that the regular Vikings pregame show is scheduled to start Sunday morning at 6:30,
right,
to begin a special edition of sermons at 5 a.m. I made the mistake of mentioning it and even kidding about it.
Yeah.
And now we have people who are I know are shaming me, trying to convince me to do it. I think I'm going to hold steady on it, because here's the other part of the story. I can't do the show by myself. So by definition, that means somebody else has to be willing to get up at 4 a.m. to join me, right? Because I need somebody to be in the chair you're in.
Yeah.
And I don't even think that's fair to that individual, who would likely be Brett Blakemore.
Yeah, but every time I see Blakemore, he's like, let me know when you need me. He's looking for hours. Blakemore's looking for hours.
Is he
I'm just
really?
saying, oh yeah, he might do it. By the end of the show tonight, we might have this thing done. We might. It's very possible.
Well, can we call you?
To come in?
No, not to come in, just for a phone.
Call me?
For a phoner, maybe to react to Gophers Rutgers.
If you do the 5:30 Sunday sermons or 5 a.m. Sunday sermons, yes, you can call me in the show wrap at 6:15.
Well, by rights, shouldn't you have Gopher Football Sunday then at 4 a.m. preceding me?
If I had brought it up publicly like you, yes. Bernsey and I might be doing some type of podcast.
Okay, fair enough. That's good to know.
We're hopefully going to get something out there for people. Although, did you hear the bitterness and negativity about what we did in Cal?
No.
Because we had to record that one.
I heard it. The sound was funky.
Yes.
I lauded you. But even before there was any criticism, I said, look, it didn't sound, crystal clear. But I like the effort.
I was standing next to the airplane.
Yes, I know. You were like, that's what I saw. I actually stuck up for you, even though there were people going, what was with that sound?
I know.
Yeah.
Well, people are texting me, and I'm asleep, I think. Like, what's wrong with you? What's going on? It's like, guys, it's 3 a.m. Central Time. Yeah. I'm on an Oakland airport tarmac.
Right. Let me live my life.
Just trying to get something in.
At least there's something here rather than... Because you could have, especially with the team losing, you could have written it off and said, we're just going to pretend this outcome didn't happen. And yet you did. You met it head on.
And after all that feedback, I'm really glad I did. I'm really glad I went through all that trouble. Interviewing Grimm next to the bus while a drunk Cal student is peeing on the wall next to us, and then he forgot.
Who's the one that was? Didn't somebody fall down a hill?
Same guy.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
So he peed first, then fell.
Peed first, then forgot to redo his pants, so he couldn't walk up the hill. Then he fell, and we just powered through it.
Man.
I mean, it was
being the pros that you are.
Yeah, it was 1 a.m. It's Berkeley.
We only brought it up 8 times.
I know. Yeah. Well, we were just probably trying not to talk about the fourth quarter.
That's true.
Let me do a couple of walk-offs.
It's time for Dr.
Although this one is more than a walk-off because I think this one is serious. Still.
We get letters. We get your letters every day.
Dear Dr. Dan, next time you talk to El Nanny, could you get a good number for a good moving company to Florida?
Whoa.
That's from K Kaprizov.
Oh, man.
Still not signed as far as we know.
No, unless they're embargoing the story.
Then there's this one. I told you before, we got about 6 in this vein. So I think I'll read this one.
Okay.
Dear Dr. Dan, I meant to call 911, but wasn't sure what the number for police is in this country. I'm going to keep my voice down because I'm currently hiding in my kitchen in need of some real help. I don't want to put away my location or spike the interest of the perpetrator. He, for whatever reason, has binoculars, putting them to each of my windows. The reason I'm reaching out is because it appears to me this individual is wearing a Gopher sweatshirt, is carrying vegetables from his garden, and has a Delta Sky Club hat on.
Oh, my God.
I moved to Lake Como for privacy, and somehow Pete Kessler found me. We haven't talked since we both ran Jay Biden out of the election a couple of years ago. I do have some pot I could throw towards his boat to entice him, or I could offer him an emeritus position in my next movie. I heard he loves the title of emeritus. I will say, even from a distance, F. McFreak isn't looking too bad on the boat, though. Please send help, G. Clooney.
Very well played. That kind of symbolizes, you said, how many did you get from Pete Kessler? About 10?
Yeah.
Man. And did any of them involve fisticuffs?
No.
That surprises me.
This one was quick, though. Dear Dr. Dan, do you have a number of a good lawyer? My hookers and blow plan kind of backfired. That from Pete Kessler.
Oh, my God.
Got another one from Pete Kessler I can't read. Then I like this one, and this is a throwback that you would have had to have been listening last Friday to fully get.
Okay.
But I loved it. And this is from a regular. Dear Dr. Dan, regret taking Illini and the points. Is Kessler going to Italy for the joints? New Twins owners will be ready to pay. U3DHQK, Wolves in 5, L. Neal.
That's pretty good. You want to leave it there?
Leave it there.
That's nicely played. Aaron Gleeman in studio. A lot of Twins stuff, a lot of baseball stuff to get to. Maybe some NBA, too. Who knows what else? Gleeman is next.